Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we are flying on Asiana Airlines A380 on their second deck in business class. This is going to be an amazing video and we have so much to cover, so let's get into it. Welcome to Seoul Incheon International Airport. This is where we will be starting our journey today. We just got off a flight from Japan and that will be another video, but right now we are headed to the lounge to get some food before our flight. We are headed to the Asiana Business Lounge, which is different from the Asiana Business Suite Lounge. The Business Suites are the retired first class that Asiana used to have, and they now sell as an upgraded ticket to the business class. If you're on a business class ticket, you can only get into the Business Lounge, not the Business Suite Lounge. You can also get access with the Priority Pass. The lounge is really nice. There's lots of seating separate in two main areas, the main area with the food, and then another seating area with the bar. The lounge had a wide variety of food, with some notable options being a large bowl of chips and even milk cartons, which I have not seen before. And they also had a massive selection of ramen just piled up at the end here. I've never seen so many ramen cups in my life. The bar area was all self-service. You just come and grab what you would like at any time with no restrictions. The thing I really liked about this lounge was the amount of windows. The entire wall was windows looking onto the ramp, and it was absolutely amazing to see all the planes come and go, and along with it let in a whole bunch of natural light. Amenities of the lounge included shower facilities, full body massages, Wi-Fi, and internet connection. So overall, it was a very nice lounge. But let's head over to the gate and see the A380 for the first time. As I got to the gate, I got to see the first glimpse of our A380. This A380 is registered as Hotel Lima 7640, and it is a 9.5-year-old A380, and I just could not believe the size of this beast. It is absolutely massive and so cool to see in real life. Let's take a look at the seat map on this aircraft. Asiana Airlines has 12 business suites on the bottom floor, which is their retired first class. They sell it as an upgrade to the business class. And then there's 66 business class seats on the second floor, being split between the first section and the second section. And then there's 417 economy seats, with most of them being on the bottom. And then the back rear section of the second floor is also another economy section. Today we are sitting in seat 15A, which is a few rows behind the first door on the second deck. Asiana Airlines uses boarding groups for their boarding, and we were in priority boarding groups, so we got to board first after the people who needed special assistance and time to board. And we got these amazing views of the aircraft. So hard to judge the size of these aircraft from pictures, and just seeing it up close was an absolutely amazing experience. Like, look at those engines. They're absolutely massive. The cool thing about these large gates is that this jetbridge leads right up to the second floor. Let's get on board and take a look at the seat we'll be sitting in for the next 12 hours. This is seat 15A, and it is one of the seats that are closer to the window, not the aisle. On first glance, it looks a little outdated, but we'll see what that actually is. Along the left side on the windows, there is a large storage bin, and then on the right side, we have the tray table and a seat pocket. Waiting for us at the seat was 2 disinfectant wipes. Those are the only 2 we got for the whole flight, a pair of slippers, the headphones, which were not too bad, and we'll take a look at the entertainment system a little later, and then a big yellow amenity kit that we will also take a look at later, and everything was individually wrapped, which was nice. Next to that, there was a nice cold water bottle and its own little water bottle holder, which was actually a really smart design. And then here we had some more literature. Next to that was an in-seat reading light with multiple different levels, and it moved in all directions. And then we had the headphone jack and a USB connector. Right under that, we have all these seat controls with a remote so that you can control the IFE screen. And while we were at the gate, the IFE screen was locked on a rotating video promoting Asiana Airlines. This is the seat, and it was pretty comfortable, a little outdated, but one thing I did not like was the shoulder strap that you were required to wear. It made the seat very uncomfortable, and it really dug into your neck. So that's one thing I really did not like about this seat. Right under the seat controls and the IFE screen, there was a little pocket built into the seat, and I didn't really put much stuff there because not a lot would fit, and also I was afraid that when the seat moved, something would get stuck and jammed under the seat and I would lose that, so I didn't really use that pocket very much. This is the front of the seat. There are the two footwells, and this is the screen. The screen does not move, and it is kind of hard to see with the reflection. This is the storage container off to the side, and at first I really did not think it was very useful, but later on in the flight I used it so much. It is actually really big, and you can fit so much stuff inside. And at this point, this is when the captain came on to say this.
Waiting for the last two passengers' baggage to be loaded. We expect a departure in about 5 minutes. Thank you for your patience.
I could say that was the end of the delays, but we sat at the gate for around 40 minutes before we started to push back because of the ground crew trying to load the last bit of cargo. During that time, the crew came around and introduced themselves. They also explained the menu and how it's going to work, and then another crew member came around and took our order and put it in an iPad. First, they told me that they might not have enough of my first choice, and then I provide a second choice, so I did, and then later they came back and told me that they do have enough, so we're going to take a look at that later. The last thing I want to say about this seat is that there was no overhead air vent, just a light. At this point, the safety demo played, and I thought that there were some really cool graphics in here. Asiana Airlines did an amazing job, and it's just fun to see all this little scales of the A380 that they put into this video. After that, the entertainment system shut down and restarted so that we could have access to it once the plane pushed back. We finally pushed back. I got to look out the window and see the people waving, and I think this is an absolutely amazing tradition. It is my favorite. I love to see it, and I think more airlines should implement this. I always love to plane spot as we taxi around the airport, and I find it crazy how much space the wings take up. They're absolutely massive, and they curve up, and if you were on the bottom floor, I've seen some videos, and you can't even see over them, and it's just crazy, but there's such a good view on the second floor. Before takeoff, I spotted one of Finnair's A350s here, and I recently reviewed them last year, so if you want to see what economy class is like, you can check it out in the card above. Now, I hope you enjoy this amazing takeoff out of Seoul. Upon takeoff, I spotted this vortex stream over the wing, and that's just something cool to see. It happened a few times during the flight. One thing I didn't realize while I was on this flight is how close North Korea is. It is literally right over that coastline, right beyond the Seoul airport, and it really didn't set until I looked at the flight path, and I was like, oh my gosh, we were right there, so that was kind of crazy. After takeoff, the meal service started, and we had an option between Western or Korean lunch. I picked the Western option with the main course of beef tenderloin. I'm going to put the menu on the screen. And then we also had a choice of drink, and there was a full menu of alcohol and non-alcoholic drinks. First thing to arrive was a jamon salad with cauliflower and mousseline, and it was pretty good. I'm not a big salad person, so I just ate the meat. The presentation of the salad was pretty nice. It's very nicely presented, and there was definitely some mashed potatoes on the bottom of it. And then I also got a water and pineapple juice, which were delicious. The meal also came with metal silverware, and everything was Asiana Airlines branded. We were handing out the salad. Another crew member came around with a bread basket, and you got to pick a selection of bread. And I got a butter croissant and garlic bread, which were delicious. I had at least 2 of them on the flight. After most people had finished eating, they came and cleared all of the salads, and then around 5 minutes later they came with all of the main meals, and then they also had a basket of sauces. There was quite a few, like 7, and they asked if you would like any with your food. This is what the grilled beef tenderloin looked like, and it was a pretty good presentation. Everything was really hot, and the tenderloin was cooked to around a medium with a pink center. The sauce and mashed potatoes were really good, and they also came along with another bread basket. That we got the first of 2 desserts, the cheese platter, and personally I think there was not enough crackers and a little too much cheese, but it was still pretty good. Second dessert was a raspberry chocolate fudge cake, and it was not my favorite cake. There was nuts in it, which was a little disappointing, but other than that, it was okay. Overall, the meal service was pretty good. I definitely think everyone can find something to eat, and there was a very wide variety of options available. I really liked how everything was served in glassware, and you also got metal silverware, and then also the flight attendants would always come around and refill your drinks, which was nice. Hey guys, welcome to the front lavatory on Asiana's A380. I cannot believe I'm saying this. And look at this restroom. It is massive. We have a full-length mirror over here, the door, another mirror, the sink. We have an amenity bar with some mouthwash, lotion, mist. There is some shaving gel with shavers here too, paper towels, even an air vent with a power port. And then if you come over here to this side, this is where the toilet, you lift this up. And then that is the toilet right there. This restroom is a little bit of a mess. Meal service just finished, and yeah, it's kind of messy. But yeah, this is really crazy. This is where Emirates puts their showers. So yeah, there's this one lab, and then on the other side there's a lounge, which I'll show a little bit later. But this is absolutely crazy, and I cannot believe for what the rest of this flight has to offer. It's going great, and I'm sure the next 10 hours will be just as fun. So yeah. This is the onboard lounge. On the front of the second deck, there's some couches to the left, a big TV screen with a little ledge in the front. There is a bathroom there, with that is the big bathroom I just reviewed. And then down there is the stairs to the first class business suite cabin. And it was pretty empty for most of the flight. The only person I saw up here was someone literally sleeping on the couch. There's not a whole lot to do up here. You can really just sit. There's no magazines or really any TVs, so that's why there wasn't many people up here. Let's take a look at the in-flight entertainment system. This system was pretty old, I would say, but there was still a good selection of shows and movies. There was definitely more shows and movies in Korean than English, but I definitely think you can find a lot to watch if you are. I watched Juror number 2, and I would highly recommend. It was really good. And they also have a feature where you can add it to your movies, and then you can go back and find the movie section, and it'll like show what your favorites were. Other features that it has was a selection of games and seat-to-seat calling with the handset that did not work very well. Another cool feature that the IFE had was that they had every single plane that Asiana Airlines has, and if you click on it, there's a whole bunch of stats, and I think that's really cool. The other airlines used to do it like in the backseat magazines. There would be a page with all the planes, and I just think it's something that airlines have kind of forgotten about, so it's kind of nice to see. Now let's take a look at the all-near Amenity Kit. It came in this really nice yellow case, and it was actually pretty big, kind of like the size of a small book. It came with an eye mask, a pamphlet, toothbrush, toothpaste, earplugs, an all-near hand cream, lip balm, and facial cream. And then one unique item is this Asiana Airlines comb and holder. It's pretty unique. I've not really seen it anywhere else, so that's kind of nice. So all around a good amenity kit. One of the best things to do on an overnight flight is sleep, and after the service, a little while, they turned down the cabin lights and tried to get everyone to sleep. The bedding came with pillow, a cover, and a blanket, and here's me trying to put it all together. For some reason, I was struggling a little bit, and the seat does lie fully flat, which is nice. This is the bed fully put together. It is pretty nice. There is a good amount of space, but I do feel that my toes were touching the end of the footwell, and I'm about 5'9", so if you're like 6 foot or taller, you might have some issues fitting into this, but other than that, it was pretty nice. My only complaint is that when you are lying in bed, the seat control light bar is very bright and it shines right into your eyes, and this is the same problem I had on the Japan Airlines A350 business class, so it seems to be a common problem, and airlines should really have a way to turn that off. Oh, it's me again. We are in the rear business class lavatory, and look at this. It is a loo with a view. I have finally been able to fly on a plane with this. I think it is so cool, and all planes need to have this. This is actually such a great view too of the wing and the nice sunset. Absolutely beautiful. This bathroom is actually pretty big too. There's all your standard stuff, all those amenities that we talked about. A few of them are gone, but it's a lot cleaner and still pretty spacious in here. So yeah, this is amazing. One more thing I want to talk about is that the bathrooms have air vents, but the seats do not, which I do find a little interesting. After that, I ordered off the always available menu. I got the ham and cheese croissant with a pineapple juice, and it was not too bad. It was nice and warm, but it's definitely not the best thing I've had on a plane. My favorite things to do on this flight was look out the window at this massive wing. There was some amazing views of the sunset and the sunrise, and I just could not get enough of that double engine view. It is absolutely incredible up here from the second deck. Now it is time for the breakfast service. I'll put the menu on the screen, but I chose the Kobe Jack cheese omelet. But first, it is time for the appetizer of yogurt and fruit. This is the appetizer of fresh fruit and yogurt. It is very simple, but it definitely serves the purpose of the appetizer. It came with the butter and jam for the selection of the bread basket. The choices were croissant, courgette bread, or maple pecan pastry, and I of course went with the croissant, and it was so much better than the one I had for a snack earlier in the flight. Next up is the Kobe Jack cheese omelet, and it comes with a Parmesan cream sauce, herb roasted tomatoes, zucchini, and a sausage. The presentation here, it's a lot crowded into the plate and does not mention the mashed potatoes, but they were pretty good. The omelet had just cheese in it, which is really good because I'm not a fan when they add other things, and it was delicious. And that was it. Our flight was coming to an end. That was a speedy mail service, and it was pretty good. I just want to talk about a few things that I missed during this review that I found when we were coming into land. Up first is that there's an AC power port in the bottom of the seat, and it is also pretty dirty down there. Second, the tray table swings in and out, which is really nice when there's a tray on there and you need to exit your seat to go to the bathroom. Thirdly, how this seat was designed, the left part of the seat completely blocks out the second window. You get two windows with this seat, and the second one is completely useless, which was kind of bad because there's really no need to have that there, but it's kind of consistent with the middle seats, because in the middle section you want that extra privacy. So I do understand why it's there. It's just kind of a bummer because that would be such a convenient window to look out of. Lastly, I want to circle back to the storage bin that I talked about in the beginning of the flight. It was very useful. I threw all the bedding in there, and there was still room for the headphones and extra stuff. And it's really useful because the seat itself doesn't really have that much storage options. So this is great that it's there, and you can just put all your bedding and extra stuff in there during the flight. As we descend into LA here, I want to talk about this flight. It was truly an amazing flight. It was so cool to fly on the A380. It is definitely a flight I will remember forever. Asiana Airlines did an amazing job. The service was really good. The food was not bad, and the seat was a little outdated but still competitive because it is still a 1-2-1 configuration. I did not get much use out of the lounge. I thought it was a very cool addition to use up that space, and then the extra large bathroom was also very nice as it kind of gave you some more space and you weren't cramped in the normal plane bathrooms. I hope you enjoy this hard landing into LA. Give a shout out to Airline Videos Live Plus because they live stream the LA airport 24/7 and they were actually able to catch our plane coming in. So here is the video from them.
Long 241 Lima Heavy Low, Star 12307, runway 24 right, clear to land. Caution turbulence preceded by a Super Airbus short final. Air Canada 552 lost in its tower. Caution turbulence preceded by a heavy Dreamliner 5-mile final, wind 2407.
Now we get to do some plane spotting as we head to the gate. There's a Delta 767. LA is such a big airport, you never know what you are going to find. And as we pass the airline's maintenance hangar, there is an American Airlines A321. And then up ahead, an American Airlines 777-300. I recently did a review of them flying back from London to DFW in economy class. And if you want to see that video, I'm going to link it right in the top right corner of your screen now. It's fun to see all of them wave at us and take videos. And whatever is going on there is definitely a team effort because there's a lot of people around that 777. And as we pull into the gate here, we get to see my favorite aircraft, the 747 in the new Korean Airlines livery. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. I am still mixed. I kind of like the old one better, but I would absolutely love to fly on the 747. Sure to hit that subscribe button so that I can review a 747. It would absolutely be a dream come true. And that concludes our Asiana Airlines A380 business class from Seoul to LA. Thank you guys so much for watching the whole video. Hope you'll have an amazing day.